Welcome to another one of my videos to benefit Eve University. I'm Amoni Panala. You might know me as Zipporah Panala or Camille Panala. Depending on when you met me in Eve University, I put a number of characters through Eve University. Currently, I am Camille Panala in Eve University. Um, Amoni is my main. And today we're going to be talking about trade, also known as market PvP. So we don't have a live class with us today. So if you have questions, please feel free to leave them as a comment on the video, and I will get to those as soon as I can. I can't promise to answer all questions that might come in, especially if I get a bunch of them, but I will answer as many as I can, um, as quickly as I can. So we're going to talk about the market. We'll talk about how to use the market interface. We'll talk about buy and sell orders. We'll talk about station trading and using trade hubs to your advantage. We'll talk about how you make a profit trading. We'll talk about region trading and inter-region trading. We'll talk about trades and contracts. Um, and then, of course, I will keep an eye out for any questions that come in. So, trading happens everywhere in New Eden, and it can happen basically anywhere there's an NPC station. It can also happen in player structures that are equipped with a market module. Now, market modules are expensive to have in a structure. The module itself is expensive, as well as the fuel cost. So, um, structures have an upkeep cost based on fuel, and the fuel cost to have a market module is quite significant. So it should come as no surprise that only certain structures are going to have the market module. NPC stations, on the other hand, are much more likely to have uh, are going to have the market available. Now, that doesn't mean that every NPC station is going to have a good market. It doesn't mean that everything available is going to be at every market that you find in an NPC station. But NPC stations will have markets, at least most of them, if not all of them. Um, and these are just things, for the most part, markets are made up of player items that are brought to specific stations or player structures. These can be things that are made by the players, or they could be bought in one place and brought to another. Now, the market is highly competitive. This is why we call it market PvP, because there is, uh, you will put in an order um, to sell something. You might put in a sell order, and you might put up your things for 45 million ISK, and at the time it looks like yours is the best option. You're selling it for the cheapest, but then 2 hours later there are 6 orders that are cheaper than yours by just some small amount, and that can go on for hours and hours, and you lose money every time you put up a sell order. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, I know, but we'll go from there. Um, the market largely exists because players need things. There are players that build things, there are players that sell things, and there are players that buy things. Now, whatever a player needs, there is an opportunity to make money. So, oftentimes, what I advise is that if you are interested in getting into trade, that you look at what people need in your area, and that's what you should be selling. So whatever moves quickly, whatever moves frequently, that's what you should be selling. So at any station or structure with a market, you can click on the market icon and it will bring up this window, which is going to show you a bunch of different things. It's going to show you on the furthest left hand side, it's going to show you all the things that are available. Now this is I'm pretty sure this is in Jita, so that it has quite a few things available. Just about everything that you can find is going to be on the market here. Um, and you can find ships, you can find skins, you can find blueprints, ammunition, all kinds of manufacturing materials. You can find planetary stuff. You can find structures for sale. Everything and anything you might want will be on the Jita market, because that is one of the biggest hubs in the game. Um, what you will find in a structure in, say, our high-sec staging in Stackmon, what you'll find in the NPC stations is going to be very different than what you'll find in Jita, and the prices will look different. Um, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So in this window, we can see a bunch of different information. We can see what's for sale. We can see how much each thing costs when we select a specific item. So here we have the Vexor selected, um, and we can see how much the Vexor is going to cost us. So we can see here there is one Vexor for 14,300,000 ISK here. Um, we can see another one for 14.5. Now, I will point out here, when you are looking at orders, do be careful, because this one Vexor is slightly cheaper, but it's also one jump away in perimeter. So if you buy that, you're going to have to fly to perimeter. You're going to have to go to this station and pick it up. As opposed to this next one, which is 200 million, or 200,000 ISK more, and it's here in the station. So we can tell that it says jumps. We can see the first one, it says one jump. It says how many Vexors are available at this location for this price. And we can also see where specifically this is. So if we were going to buy these Vexors, let's say we wanted to buy all 7 of them for cheaper, we could right-click on this location and set destination, buy all 7 of these Vexors, and bring them to Jita and sell them for slightly more if we really wanted to. I don't think we would do that, because the margins would be terrible, wouldn't be really profitable. But those are the things to keep in mind. One other thing to keep in mind is over here, expires in. So these are the how long is left on this sell order. So up at the top we have sell orders. Down at the bottom we have buy orders. So these are what people are selling. This is what people are buying. We have a bunch of people trying to buy Vexors for 12,700,000. So these are people who are hoping to get a Vexor for slightly cheaper. If the price goes down, their orders will be filled. And this expiration date here, it says 18 days, 21 hours, 48 minutes, 41 seconds. This is telling us how long this order has been up for. And you can set this manually, and we'll cover more of this as we get to buy and sell orders. But I just want to bring your attention to what all this information means, so that you can look at this and feel confident in what you're seeing here. and we'll move on. Okay. Now, in terms of finding what you're looking for, we have a search bar on the far left side. There's a little search bar. You can type what you're looking for. It doesn't even have to be the full name of the thing. You can just start typing the name of the thing, and it'll try to, and it'll start populating with the closest matches of what you're trying to find, which is super useful because some things have really complicated names, and trying to find what you're looking for can be difficult if you had to have the exact name of it. You can also browse just manually clicking through the different categories and then finding the specific item you're looking for. So here you can see everything is organized by category, and it branches out into a collapsible tree. Um, and here we have the Vexor under ships, cruisers, and then standard cruisers, and then Galente, and there's our Vexor. Now you can also search under categories, right? So on the far left side, we see categories here, but let's say, you want to find a different cruiser, you could just click on one of these and it'll bring you to the next highest um, category or subcategory in there. So maybe we want to find the Thorax, which is another cruiser in the Galente line of cruisers, standard cruisers. So we can just click Galente and it'll bring up everything that's Galente standard cruiser category, and find the Thorax that way if we wanted to. Now, in terms of parsing all this information, because there is a lot of information here, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, so I'm going to try and show you how to organize some of this information. We can organize by price, uh, and so we can do this by ascending, right? So we want to see the cheapest available. And then we can organize the buy orders by descending. So we see who's willing to pay the absolute most for a Vexor. Because if we have Vexors and we want to sell our Vexor immediately, it's gonna go to one of these buy orders. And so if we set this the buy orders by descending, it's going to show us the highest buy order, and that's how much we're going to sell our Vexors for. Now, you can buy things in a couple different ways, but for trading, we want to pay attention to this place buy order because we are generally not going to buy things instantaneously. We are going to be placing buy orders, placing sell orders, and so we need this little button down at the bottom here that says place buy order. Now, if you do buy now, it's going to bring up this tiny window, right? And it's going to show you the price for how much it's going to cost you to buy it. You're going to get a little notice that tells you how much above the regional average this is. So there might be a Vexor out there cheaper than this. In fact, we know that there's a Vexor out there cheaper. We can see it right here, 14.3. This is 14.87. So we know that there is something cheaper, and it's letting us know this is 6.11% above the prices elsewhere in the region. And if we hit buy, that's going to be an instantaneous buy. It's going to be in our or in our ship hangar in this station, and we'll have a Vexor. However, What if we don't want to pay 14.87 or even 14.3? Well, we can click on the advanced and now we can do a place by order. Um, so this is the other way to place a by order. If you just select one of these orders and hit buy, or it'll bring up this, and we can go into advanced, and now we have the option to offer to buy it at a lower price. So now we're placing a buy order, and let's say we want it for 13, right? We're not so greedy that we're gonna go for 1271. We're gonna go for 13 million. So we put up a buy order, and now we have to wait until somebody fills it. Okay. When you put in a buy order, it's going to give you this larger window with much more detail. It's going to, if we put in that buy order for 13, it's going to tell us that it is 7.2% below the regional average. That's the sell price, right? So people are selling their vexers for much more than this. So we need to pay attention to that. So it's going to give us a bunch of information: the regional average, the best regional. It's going to give us the best matching price. All that information. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The thing that you do need to pay attention to is a couple of these things. So the price. Pay attention to how much you're going to pay for it. Make sure that you watch those zeros. With a buy order, if you screw that up, you are going to be paying way more for a vexer than you meant to. Or you're going to put in not enough, and then your order just won't get filled. So then you'll never get your vexer. Pay attention to the quantity. So we have one vexer and for a minimum of one. Now we can adjust this if we're trying to buy a bulk order of vexers, right? Let's say we want 20 vexers. We can put in the quantity for 20. And then this minimum of one, this means that whoever has vexers to sell, they can fill in our buy order one vexer at a time. If we don't like that, if we want somebody to just sell us all 20 vexers at once and be done with it, and we don't have to worry about like, oh, I only have 13, I gotta wait till I have all 20 vexers, we can say screw that. We can set the minimum to 20. So now we're buying 20 vexers, and the person who sells us these vexers has to have all 20 vexers at this and willing to sell it at this price. So there may be instances where you want to do that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but maybe that's something you need to know. The other thing to keep in mind is duration. 3 months, right? So this is how long this buy order is going to be up for. Depending on what you're selling, it may not take the full 3 months to sell, to get your buy order filled, but the range is going to be how far out are you willing to buy it. Do be careful with this one, because if you have a large range, that means somebody might fulfill your buy order in low sec. Somebody might fulfill your buy order in null sec, right? If you put in a buy order in StackMon, you can get somebody fulfilling your order in null sec or low sec. So please be careful. I generally just go with station. The other thing I want to call your attention to, there is a cost to putting in buy orders, and we can see the price here. The broker's fee, it is 1.14%. Now this does change depending on skills and your standings. So Do be aware that there is a cost, and this is where the whole market PvP thing comes from, because even even if you do manage to sell or buy something, if you're constantly having to adjust the price at what you're going to buy something for or what you're going to sell something for, you might be losing money just because you constantly have to adjust the order. So be careful about that. It is a way to bleed money out of people, and force them to buy at or sell at a specific price because they can no longer afford to keep modifying their order. Okay, so again, here's the quantity. I got a little ahead of myself because I get so excited about this stuff. And again, yes, set this for station. Please set this for station. Don't set it for jumps. Otherwise, somebody will fulfill your order at a random place that maybe you don't want to go to. If you make this mistake, it will cost you time and money, and it will be very frustrating when you realize I can't tell you. This is more for when I can't tell you how many times I have bought something only to realize I did not set it to the station, and now I have some random crap in some random station somewhere. I'm not gonna go get it. That's just a loss. That's a total loss. I'm scrapping that crap, and it's a total loss. Um, unless I paid a ridiculous amount of money, I'm not going to go get it. Screw that. So don't do that because it'll cost you money. Make sure you set it to station. Now, if you want to sell something, you can right click on the item that you want to sell. It could be a ship, it could be a module, whatever. But you're going to right click it and you're going to sell it. Now, the window that brings up, again, this is just the right click to sell. It's going to be a small window. You can select the quantity. So right now we just have one Vexor and we're going to sell it. It's going to give you the um, it's going to give you the price. It's going to tell you what the regional average, where this falls within the regional average. Remember earlier, I showed you the buy orders and I showed you the highest one, 1270. Looks like we're selling it for 1272. Okay. Um, we can set how long we want this sell order to be up for. So, uh, if we want to sell immediately, chances are this is going to be a lower price. If you remember, now it's okay if you don't, but if you remember, 1271 was the highest buy order price. We want to sell it just above that price, right? We're slowly pushing the price up on the Vexor. So we're selling it for 1272. We're upping the buy price just a little bit by 10,000 ISK. Okay. So we're going to set it for 3 months. It's probably not going to take 3 months for us to sell the Vexor, but we're going to put it up for 3 months just to make sure that we have the best chance of selling this Vexor over time. Um, Below that, we have the remaining market orders. So this is telling us how many market orders we can have open. Um, if you have a bunch of them open at one time, you're going to have an increasingly lower number of market orders, and you can increase the number of market orders you can have by training up skills to do more market orders. You can find all the relevant skills in the trade category in your skill window. Take a look at those. And again, just like just like placing a buy order, selling stuff costs money. Now, I want to draw your attention to something here. Selling has two fees: broker's fee and sales tax. So the sales tax is quite a bit higher, 3.6%. Um, the broker's fee is 1.14%, just as it was with the buy order, but now we also have a sales tax. So putting up sell orders is going to be even more expensive if we constantly have to modify the price. Um, okay. And again, I got ahead of myself because I just get excited. Can't help but just jump ahead. Um, yes, please, please count your zeros, because if you mess up, if you, so here we have this for 1 million, 1,272,000 ISK. If you, I cannot tell you how many times I have seen someone screw this up. People have forgotten a zero and have sold something for significantly cheaper. I mean, we're talking capitals, we're talking rare ships. This stuff happens all the time. You forget a zero, you will lose money. So pay attention to those zeros, and look here, minus 90.9%. That should be the red flag you need to know that you screwed something up before you hit the sell button. Okay? If the ISK amount that you'll get when you sell the Vexer doesn't scream in your ears that something is wrong, this red right here saying minus 90.9% should tell you everything you need to know. You missed a zero. Okay. So I mentioned that there are skills you can train to increase the number of orders you can place. With no skills, that's going to be 5. You can place 5 orders. Um, in the trade category in your skill window, there are a number of skills to trade. So to start, you've got the trade skill, which is going to increase the number of orders by 4. Then once you have trade 2, you can start training retail, which is going to increase by 8 per level. Once you have retail 5 and marketing 2, marketing is a separate thing. It's just a prerequisite. You can start training wholesale, which is going to increase your market orders to by 16 per level. Then once you've got wholesale 5, you can start training tycoon. Tycoon is going to increase your market orders by 32 per level. Now, don't feel like you have to train all of these right away, um, because if you're just getting into trade, you don't need to train all of these up right away. Just start with trade. Maybe once you've got trade 2, throw in some levels of retail there, and just see, get your feet wet with trading, because if you train all of these and then you start trading and you're like, dang, I suck at this, or this actually is not fun for me. Um, well, congrats, you just wasted a whole bunch of time and effort on training skills that now you're not going to even use them. So don't train these all right away. Just start with trade, maybe a couple levels in retail if you really want to increase your market orders. But then if you find that you are trading in large volumes of things, uh, and a variety of things, definitely consider training that retail up to 5 so you can get wholesale. And if you're really moving volume, train up tycoon. I will also say most people don't train these skills on their mains. Most people have a market alt or a trading alt, and sometimes they have multiple trading alts, right? That they do this with. And so I would not recommend, maybe if you're just if you just want to try it out, sure, go ahead, train up the trade skill on your main and try it out, you know? Um, but the thing is that there is a good chance that your your character that is going to do all this trading is probably just going to live in one place or maybe go from one place to another place over and over again. And so, um, if you are interested in other things in the game and not just trading, you're not going to want to be doing this on your main because your main is the character that you're going to do all that other fun stuff with. Okay, so station trading. This is when you buy stuff and sell stuff in the same location. It's all good. This is basically what we were talking about. Okay, nothing special about it. Pretty standard. When we open the market window, it's going to tell us everything that's in this station. Now, we are going to, as I said at the beginning, we are going to see some orders for things that are not in this station, right? And if we really want to, we can organize by jumps. And that'll filter things so that we can just see station orders, just see or maybe just see things that are further away. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. Do keep in mind that if you sort by jumps, that means you're not going to get the lowest price on your sell orders or the highest buy order on your buys. Okay. There is a good chance that there is somebody a few jumps out who is going to undersell or try to um, buy at a higher price a few jumps out. Be aware of that because um, it can be somebody who's too lazy to go to a specific station, or it could be a trap. There are a number of times where pirates will set up a buy order on a high sec island, or a sell order, I should say, for something that is very common that people buy a lot of or buy frequently. And uh, it looks like it's a high sec, so you think, oh, that's cool. This is significantly cheaper than anywhere else. I'm going to place that buy order. And then you go to pick up your item and you find out, uh-oh, I gotta go through low sec. So be careful of that. But if you're station trading, you're staying in one place and you're buying and selling things in that station or structure. Now, usually this is done in places like Jita 44, which is the largest trade hub in New Eden. You could be doing it in some of the others if you have like specific items, maybe things that are bought from the LP store, um, Navy issue hulls, Republic issue hulls. Um, those kinds of things are gonna, you might sell those in one of the other trade hubs, Amar, Dodixie, Ren's, Heck. Um, there are some trade hubs in other places that are generally not going to be open to everyone. Um, but these are the ones that you can find and access regardless of your corp affiliation, regardless of your standings, things like that. Um, Now, how much you're going to make depends on a number of things. So there's going to be a margin, right? How much did you buy it for and how much are you selling it for? What is the margin on that? What is the difference between those two things? And remember that if you're doing station trading, if you're buying something up and then selling it at a different price to try and make a profit, also got to factor in the also got to factor in the expense of those order fees, right? The broker fees, the sales tax, all that stuff. Also, how much volume are you selling? If you have the largest number of something, there is a good chance that you can probably ask for more on your sell order because once all that other stuff buys up, you know, all they got left is you. You're the person. You've got the stuff that they need, and now you can demand the price. Um, and like I said, keep in mind the taxes and the broker fees because those will eat away. They're usually not super oppressive, but they will eat away at your profit. So pay attention to those. Now, when you're looking to buy something, you might wonder, how much can I make on this thing? You know, you see that you can get something, say 10 jumps out, and you're like, I can get this for significantly cheaper 10 jumps out. Is it worth it to me to go get that? Of course, we're station trading, so we're just going to stick with one station. So let's say that one person is selling some vexors for significantly cheaper. And we're trying to decide, is it worth it to buy those vexors and then try to sell them? Well, we can look at the price history. Now, if the item is super volatile, it's going to have some lines here that are going to be going all over the place, right? And that should tell us, okay, this is a highly volatile item. It fluctuates quite frequently. Chances are, if I buy it this cheaply, the price could crash, and I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose my money on it. Pay attention to how much is sold. So if something is increasing in sales, if more and more people are buying this thing, it will show up on this graph. Also pay attention to the length of time. Uh, if there is an event and there is a particular ship that is favored for that event, you might see the number of ships, of those particular ships being sold, going up. This also happens when the meta changes. Anytime there's a balancing, right? Anytime there's balance changes, the the um, the number of certain things that are being sold is going to go up or down depending on the changes. If there was a nerf, there is a possibility that you will see something sell less if it's been nerfed. If something got a bonus, you might see more people buying that thing, maybe just experimentally, or maybe because the buff was way too good to ignore. All right, so I did talk about sales tax and brokers fees and how those kind of eat away at your profit margins. So the way to reduce that is to train some skills. Now, broker fees apply to all non-immediate orders, and you can reduce it by training up the broker relations skill. When you have it fully trained, the minimum broker fee is going to be 1%. That applies to all MPC stations. So even with max skills and you've got good standings with that corp and that and whatever, you're still going to be paying some broker fee. If you are doing your trading out of a player structure, be careful where you do it because the players get to set their own fees. And it is not unheard of for somebody to set up a trap where you put a bunch of crap on up there and then suddenly they hike up the fees. Sales tax is going to be a bit higher. The seller pays the sales tax, hence the name sales. Uh, it applies to every order, every sell order. It doesn't matter if it's immediate or if it's a overtime order. And you can train up the accounting skill to reduce the sales tax. At accounting 5, your sales tax rate is going to be 3.6. Now, there is money to be made by selling things that are not available in another area. So if you're willing to take something from one region to another, or I should say from one station within the same region to another, you might make some money. Now, you might want to look at, if you remember, there were 7 vexors on order for 14.3. Okay, 14,300,000. Now we might decide that we actually want those vexors because they're lower price and we're going to bring them to JITA. So we buy them. They're in perimeter. It's one jump away. No big deal. We buy them. We bring them to JITA. And now we're going to sell them at the higher price of 14.5. Okay. That's region trading. Okay. It's staying in the same region, so you're not going a ton of jumps out, but you're looking at all the orders in the region, a certain number of jumps out, and you're trying to decide, okay, can I buy something in one place, and can I sell in another place within this region and make a profit on the margin? Now, just as you can buy something, you can also sell something from a distance. So right now in our example, we have a range of station, but um, you could put up a buy order for further away. If you were looking to uh, find the best price, maybe somebody a couple jumps out is willing to buy it for say 15 mil. Okay, let's take the Vexor that was 14.3. Let's buy those seven Vexors and sell them for 15. Now we are making a little bit of ISK. Now, if you want to if you really want to sort of min-max it, you're gonna buy stuff in wherever it's sold the cheapest, and then you're gonna sell it wherever the highest buy order is, or wherever you think you can make the most profit. Keeping in mind that you gotta know that it's actually going to sell where you want to sell it. Now, in order to buy and sell things remotely, you do need to train up some skills. So, procurement is going to allow you to remotely create buy orders, right? From a distance, you can conveniently buy whatever your heart desires. Marketing is going to allow you to remotely create sell orders. Day trading is going to allow you to remotely modify orders. So if you need to change the price, if you set something up initially, you set up something to sell initially for 45 mil, and you knew it was a bit of a stretch because everybody else was selling it for 43, but then you check in on it a few hours later, everybody has dropped their orders to 40 million. And now you are the person who is 5 million above the next um, the next cheapest order. So now you need to modify it. Maybe you're going to drop it to 43 mil. Maybe you're going to drop it all the way down to 40 to be in line with what the other folks are selling theirs for. In order to do that, you need to train up day trading. If you want to make sure that what you're selling or buying, I should say buying because it's for buy orders. Um, if you want to make sure that you are getting the best price possible, you want to set up visibility. You want to train up visibility so you can see orders as far out as possible. This is an opportunity to spy something profitable. You might be in a place where the station you're in, the price might be relatively stable, but but you might see that there are uh, far away. There's a large quantity of something that is relatively cheap, and you want to bring the price down just a little bit more so that you can maximize on your profits when you bring that crap to this station that you're at already. Visibility is going to help you see the most options for uh, placing your buy orders. Now, if you open up the market window and you see something like this, right? So we can see that there's some vexers in system. Cheapest one is in system for 14.95, 14.95. We have the next cheapest is 3 jumps out, and after that it's 5 jumps out. So uh, there are no vexers in this station. Um, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to combine hauling and trading. So if you know that there is a demand for vexers in the station that you are in, and there are no vexers in that station, you can buy at the lowest price you can find, bring the vexers to the station where there are none, and then sell it at a relatively uh, decent price that is higher than your low price that you bought it for, and now you filled a vacancy or a void in the market and you make some profit in the process. Okay? Um, Now, I teach some classes on getting around. I have a class called Intro to Safe Traveling, uh, which will hopefully be up on YouTube eventually. Um, but for those of you who are going to haul goods, if you're going to try this, if you're going to move stuff from station to station, trying to make a profit on the margins between the different prices, do not assume that because you are in high sec, you are safe. Now, I know in my presentation it says don't use your Eve University character, use an out of corp alt. Um, that is still somewhat true, but the main reason why we tell people that is because Eve University used to get war decked all the time, and under a war declaration, people can shoot your hauling ships in high security space without repercussions. So it was very profitable to go after Eve University members who were hauling in high sec. Um, so be aware that if you are flying in an Eve University character, make sure that we're not at war. Because if we are at war and you're hauling in your Eve University character, you're going to have a bad time. Be sure to properly fit your hauler. If you're unsure, please jump in the Discord. Ask people in the fitting channel about how to properly fit your hauler. Uh, Make sure that you are not autopiloting. I know freighter pilots autopilot a lot. Be careful with that. If you are autopiloting, you are basically screaming to everyone who can see you autopiloting. It's very obvious. Everyone can see you autopiloting because you're going to land, 10K off the gate, and then you're going to slow boat in, and then you're going to jump. But when you do that, you're basically saying that you are an easy target. So that is why we say don't autopilot. And haul small. So you might be selling something that's super valuable, and you can fit a lot of it in your cargo hold or your fleet hangar, depending on what you're using to haul. Now, you might be able to fit a lot of it in your cargo hold or your fleet hangar. That does not mean that you should do that, because your the more money you have in your ship, the bigger the target you put on your back. And if you put enough money worth of stuff in your ship, um, it may not matter whether you're in high sec or not. It might be worth it to people who we refer to as gankers to blow you up. It might be worth it to them to risk losing their own ship just to get yours. And of course, you should, if you're moving from place to place, taking gates, you should be using Eve Gate Camp Check. And I will let you know, as members of Eve University, we all have access to the premium Eve Gate Camp Check. All you have to do is log in with your Eve University character, and you will have access to the premium. It has some extra intel some extra information about possible dangers along your route. It's very, very useful. Okay. Now, there are a couple of other ways that you might do some trading. And the first is contracts. Um, Contracts are very common for items that are very rare. They are also very common for things that normally can't be sold on the market. So there are a few things like that. Some skins, whether because it's a bug or just because it's a very rare skin, are going to be sold on contract. Some ships are going to be sold on contract. So like capitals, you'll find them in low sec on contract, not in the market. Um, The benefit of doing this is that you don't have the tax or the broker fees. You are still going to have to pay a small amount, 10,000 ISK, to put up a contract, but it is something you can do. You can also find hauling contracts this way, and you can set up hauling contracts. So if you find a good price, right, you've got your remote order skills trained up, you can buy remotely, then set up a courier contract so that somebody else brings that crap to the station where you want it and then sell it, right? So in theory, if you have all the right skills trained up and you've got a little bit of liquid ISK to make to grease those wheels, you could potentially just sit in one station, but you're moving stuff all around the region because you are just an absolute market goblin. Okay? Now the thing to be aware of with contracts is that they are extremely easy to use as a tool for fraud. And when I say fraud, we're not talking about anything like illegal in the real world. We're talking about things that are considered fraudulent in game. You know, some sort of trick where you lose out on money, or you lose out on your stuff, or you lose out on both. Contracts are a very convenient way to defraud people, and it is not against the rules. Fraud is a respected part of the Eve sort of ecosystem of things that you can do in this game. So you need to be smart, okay? Because if somebody pulls a fraud on you and you lose your money or you lose your stuff or you lose both, don't go crying to CCP. They're not going to help you. You can also sell and buy things through direct trade. So this is when you have somebody in the same station as you can right click their name and select the trade icon. It's going to bring up a window. You can drag things into that window if you want to sell them or trade things. You can also offer up ISK. So that's the way that, if you want to buy something from somebody, you can offer up ISK and they'll put what they've got. Do be aware that if somebody puts a ship up, you don't necessarily know how it's fit. They might say that it's fit a certain way. They might tell you, oh, it's got faction and dead space mods. It's even got an officer mod in the highs. And they're selling you up on this thing and they're giving it to you for the low, low price of 200 mil. Watch out because you don't have a good way of checking to verify that that's actually what's in the ship. And then you buy it and it turns out, oh no, it's all T1 Meta 1 or Meta 0 crap. It's absolute garbage. And now you just spent 200 million on a T1 fit garbage scout. How disappointing that would be. So watch out. Contracts and direct trades. There's a reason why people use the market, right? It's a lot harder to defraud someone using the market. Not that it's entirely impossible, right? Like we said with the zeros thing, if somebody makes a mistake, they're going to lose their stuff. And you can do some funky things to try and make people make mistakes. But contracts and direct trades are more likely. You are more likely to find a fraudulent deal through a contract or a direct trade. All right. So if you have questions, please leave them as a comment to this video. I will try to get to as many of those as I can. Can't promise to do them all if I suddenly get a bunch of comments. I haven't gotten a ton of comments uh, on my videos, so it's pretty easy to answer any questions that come up. But in the event that I do get a bunch, just be aware I may not be able to get to all of them, and I might not be able to get to all of them right away, but I will do my best. And if you like this video, please be sure to like. And if you want to keep up to date on the other class videos that I'm putting out, I also put a bunch of videos up on from my main corp videos for these are PvP big fights that we do. All the PvP content that I can record, I put it up on Novak, uh, representing my main corp Novak. If you'd like to see that kind of content, be sure to subscribe and make sure that you've got the bell selected so you can be notified when the next video comes out. And share with friends who might be interested, especially um, members of Eve University who can't attend a class. Be sure to share this video with them if they're wanting an intro to trade class and they couldn't attend one that was offered live. They can always watch my videos. They will be here. Fly dangerously, my friends. I wish you nothing but the best.